All right, greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Fort Valley Boys podcast. This edition is going to be chock full of great sports talk. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything tonight. We're going to talk about Fox Sports. What's going on at Fox Sports? We're going to talk about the college football playoffs. We're going to talk about the NFL playoffs. We're going to talk about Michael Atwater's list of and his college basketball report. Plus, what y'all been waiting on, ain't it? We're gonna talk about the college football playoff. Texas, Ohio State tomorrow night. Penn State, Notre Dame on Friday night, ladies and gentlemen. So, as the executive producer would say, go on and hit the music.
Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Boys, yeah. Hold on. We them boys. We them boys.
All right, Favy and Vicks will join us a little bit later on this evening. I got my boy Michael Atwater, aka Atwater Kuiper Jr. But
That
before we
water
get to
type.
any topic tonight, let's go ahead and pay some bills. Hey, Fort Valley Boys podcast Monday on Wednesdays and some Sundays after football season. Facebook and YouTube, 9 p.m. 5nightshirt.com. You need something for your fraternities, sororities, your HBCUs, get on there, buynightshirt.com. My sponsor, Crazy Straws. I am the CEO of Crazy Straws. If you want them crazy, you need them crazy, you want something to sip your drinks with that is showing your team colors, hey, get you some Crazy Straws. Dax, Wave, and Groom. Michael Atwater, how long you done had Wave since what year?
94.
94. 94. We graduated in 94 from LaGrange High School. He done had Waves ever since then. Ever since then. Dax, Wave, and Groom. Arizona Tea. Ooh, Jesus, that's all I'm going to say. Arizona Tea. Still 99 cents. 98 cents in some spots at some Walgreens. Instant diabetes. You want to be the new spokesperson for Arizona Tea and take over for Wilford Brinley? Get you some. Get you some of that. What's going on? We got a guest in here, shot producer in the building. I'm running down the sponsors. Hey, one of our best sponsors, Henny, Coke, Crown Royal XO, and Ginger Ale. The dark liquors, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, gentlemen?
So who the Anatole?
Is that
Yeah,
Anatola?
man. Oh yeah, man. Oh
Shot
yeah.
producer, big time Anatola in the
I need to get some more light
building.
in here. I need to get some more light. Uh-oh.
Yeah, raise the roof, raise the roof. All right, opening shots. Let's go on and talk about this Fox Sports thing, y'all. Take it
I
away,
think I
Mike.
think each one of us had a
I'm lost on this thing. There's so many moving parts with so many people, and the main person seemed to be in it with the money man seemed to be Skip Bayless. Talk to me about it.
no. The opening shot, Ryan. Everybody, that is just 2 or 3 minutes. They talking about whatever on the opening shot. So since Fade ain't been able to get on, the opening shot for Fade was the Fox Sports scandal. So it's all you, bro. And then they go to
All right,
Anatole, then I go. I forgot what
so so
Anatole's was, but then in mine.
so my thoughts on it. This is crazy. A lot of moving parts. A lot of people in this Fox thing. Seems like a little bit of that workplace some folks trying to get ahead here. What's the young lady's name? I forget the young lady's name. But her name, Skip Bayless. A lot of people there at Fox Sports seem to be as they say, seem to be entangled in a few things. just seems crazy to me, man. But I mean, it happens in every workplace, everywhere. But this, because you're in the public eye, this just seems to be brought to the forefront more than anything else.
What you
What
think
you
gonna
think
happen
about
from
that?
this? What y'all think gonna happen from this?
I mean, this is like I said, it's a lot of moving parts. People need to be fired because it got into the public eye. People need to be fired. People need to be let go of their jobs. There's going to be a lot of public ridicule, in my opinion, that's really justified. Some of the things that you hear are true. Um, Give me your thoughts on it.
I it's just a typical workplace and just something it just got out. Point blank. Period.
We've heard of these things before. We've heard them in different companies. We've heard them even not to this magnitude. I don't think at ESPN. There have been some things that come out, but I don't know if it's been this bad. We talking about payoffs and millions of dollars and different women involved and things of that nature. Uh, Anatoly, give me your thoughts on it. What do you think is going to happen with this?
Basically, and good on you fellas. Basically, I think people gonna get fired. Um, Joy reputation is her name is Joy Taylor. Her reputation is out the window. I mean, it's bad. These like I say, like Mike said, these things do happen. I mean, but for it to be out like this, I mean, you hope Skip didn't pay 1.5 million for the hairdresser. If he did, I mean, Jesus Christ, I mean, he messing the church's money up. Cause how you go from $40 to 1.5 million? I mean, come on, man. It's been $40
Well,
for some years now. So Skip messing up the game for everybody. But
I, I'm gonna be honest with you. I for that young lady to be as young as she is and Skip be as old as he is messing up the game because he a little wrinkly. If you catch what
yeah,
he's a little
yeah.
wrinkly.
But yeah, man, it's unfortunate that it happened because there's people livelihoods, there's people there's a reputation, is at stake here. And Fox does a pretty good job with their sports. But that's how I feel about it.
You wouldn't have really thought, in my opinion, that you really wouldn't have thought that Fox has always been second best to ESPN in as far as sports because ESPN, as we know, is the mothership. I never would have thought, um, and maybe I'm just being naive. I never would have thought anything like this would have happened like that. Not to this extreme. Like we said, it happens everywhere, every workplace. I don't care if you're a sportscaster or just a line worker in a factory. It happens. But man, I didn't know it was going. I didn't know it was going to happen like this. Before we move on to the next subject, anybody else got any thoughts on this, man? Because
Yeah,
this seemed to be moving.
yeah. So my hot take is best NFL rookies. So I'm gonna give you a couple of them. I'm gonna go offense and couple defensive rookies. So offensive quarterback, I got Jane Daniels. Running back, I got Bucket Irvins. Receiver, I got Malik Neighbors. Tight end, I got my boy Brock. Honorable mention, I got my boy Ladd. He put up 1,000 yards as well. On
Yes, he
defense, I
did.
got I got Jared Verse. Uh, what's his name from the Eagles? Quinion Mitchell. Also I got the Cowboys linebacker. What's his name? Mike over
Oh,
what's his
the
go ahead.
Overshawn won a rookie. I don't think.
Well, Ricky Shoka, my bad. But yeah, that's who I got. Verse and Quinion Mitchell on defense. I'm probably missing some on defense, but on offense, I mean Malik Neighbors and Brock Bowers and Bucket Irvin. Bucket Irvin won me my fantasy football league in my other league, and Jaden Daniels just been tearing it up, man. He is as advertised. He is probably NFC East. He's probably the second best quarterback in the NFC East. You could say best. You could say better than Jalen Hurts
So
after
so
one year.
I'm glad you said that, Anatoly. Let me ask you a question because we sit here and we're talking about NFL rookies. and especially the quarterback position. Got a good one coming. Got a couple of good quarterbacks coming in this next draft. As you can see, Jaden Daniels came on in like gangbusters, had a wonderful season, wonderful rookie season. Does this go to the point that you want somebody that has more snaps in college, has played more football in college, or do you just want the next big thing? The reason I
Yeah,
say that is because you got cats come in such as a Bryce Young, who's an accomplished quarterback, but got thrown straight to the fire on a bad team, and it literally just he got benched and seemed like he was just finding his way.
yeah, yeah. And he made a great point because some rookies are in good situations. Look at Bo Nix. I mean, he had an up and down college career. He got it. He was pretty good at Oregon, but he's been pretty solid for the Broncos. We got Bo Nix solid. Um, Purdy from the 49ers when he was a rookie, he looked pretty good. He still looked like a solid quarterback, but his team is good. But you get like a Bryce Young, his team was horrible, and he's just starting to look like Bryce Young that we know from Alabama. You got to get lucky. I mean, because Drake May, he's on a bad team, and Drake May is a good quarterback, but he's not, putting up the numbers like a Jaden Daniels. But he still has time. But it's all about luck in the NFL, and the NFL team want these rookie quarterbacks because you can use money for other positions because the rookie salary cap is set. Now, when you get to your money time, you gotta give Purdy $100 million. So you gotta get rid of a player. You're gonna lose a receiver or running back or something. So yeah, they want these rookies to play, and not jumping on Michael, but that's kind of happened to the Broncos, not the Broncos, the Cowboys when they had to pay Dak and all those guys. They kind of lost their window because they had to spend money on other players. You got to get it while getting good.
Yep. That's what Kansas City Chiefs did. When Patrick Mahomes in them first couple of years, they was able to pay other guys because Patrick Mahomes was still on that rookie contract. And they
Hmm.
succeeded with that because they won. Kansas
Hmm.
City started winning. So they was able to succeed. Uh Brock Bowers, y'all, had 112 catches, I think, this year. Malik Neighbors had 109. But let me tell you something about them catches. They are what we call inflated. When you are a bad team, Raiders were 4-13, Giants 3-14. When you're a bad football team, of course you're gonna be down a lot, which means you throw a lot. So we're gonna give credit to Brock Bowers and Malik Neighbors, but a lot of them catches were garbage time catches, I would say.
I
That's
respect that.
that.
With that, I mean, with that being
I
said,
respect
Mike,
that.
I agree with you there. I can see your point, but
Hmm.
the talent still shines through regardless, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it should. But let's see how they do if 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 the Raiders or the Giants were 8-8, 7-9, somewhere in there. I believe them catches would have been down. They'd have been down significantly. But with you
So,
being down in games 24-3 and 31-10, yeah, we got to throw the ball a lot. I throw it a
so
lot.
Mike, so that's why I put Lad in there because Lad was on a playoff team
Yeah.
and had good numbers, and Bucket Irvin was on a playoff team and put up. I'm gonna say he had 1,000 yards rushing, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Bucket had 1,000 yards rushing, and he didn't start beginning of the year, but Bucket the man. Bucket is my guy.
Yeah,
Bucky is
Bucket Irvin.
invited my Thanksgiving dinner next year because
Bucket
like
Irvin.
I say, Bucket Irvin the
That's that
man.
dude.
Yeah, but Jaden Daniels, man, he is freak show. He is made for TV. But that's all I got. Y'all
All right,
go ahead.
my opening shot before we get deep off into the show. A lot of people, of course, are not paying attention to college basketball, which is my favorite sport. Is everybody start paying attention to college basketball when they get March. Let me start giving y'all a primer and let y'all know some of the teams and players to watch out for. First of all, right now, the SEC is the best conference in college basketball. If you look at the
Right.
rankings, you have Tennessee, which was ranked number one, the last undefeated team in college. They were blown out by Florida yesterday by 30. 73-43, they were defeated by Florida. So the SEC is deep. Georgia, we just ain't a football school no more. Georgia knocked off Kentucky, a top 10 team. So the SEC in the top 60 of the college basketball, they call it the net rankings, they have 15 of the 16 teams in their league in the top 60, which in turn will probably give you 10 teams in the NCAA tournament come March. Um, some of the best players that are playing right now, some of the best teams, you got to watch out for in that Big 12 with Houston, Kansas, Iowa State, UConn, which took a loss tonight to Villanova, is going to still be around. Marquette is good. ACC is typically down right now. And I'm a Duke fan as well as a Georgia fan. But Cooper Flag, Sign James, uh, uh, Proctor, Duke's got enough talent to make a run in the Final Four. Duke is clearly the best team in the ACC. Um, you got Illinois in the Big Ten. So those are some of the best teams in the country. And right now, the NBA draft is probably going to be loaded with freshmen going in the top 4 or 5. Your top freshmen, a lot of people don't know this. Rutgers has probably two of the top 5 draft picks in the NBA draft coming up. They have uh, Ace Bailey, who represents Georgia, played at McKeachon High School, and they have Dylan Harper. When you hear the name Harper, that's Ron Harper's son. Both of those guys will probably be two of the top 5 picks in the NBA draft. Then, of course, Cooper Flag. You got Trey Johnson at Texas. College basketball is not like college football. College basketball has parity across the board with not just the power conferences, but you got teams like Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference, or Memphis in the AAC. Um, you got Boise State, San Diego State in my West Conference, Dayton in the Atlantic 10. You got teams in other conferences that's not a power conference that can make a run and make some noise in the NCAA tournament. So that's my college basketball primer, just trying to get everybody ready as it starts getting towards March. College basketball is a lot like the Olympics. People only get ready for it when it's time for it. So yeah, that's my salute to college basketball right now.
Mike, what about my boy Asa Newell? Think he a top
Asa,
10 pick?
Asa Newell gonna be a top 10 pick. He's balling. Asa Newell and Sorrell are the two reasons Georgia are where they at right now. Mike White finally got his team, finally got some depth up there. Mike White got Jacob Wilkins coming next year, and you hear the name Wilkins. That's Dominique's son. Will be there next year. So uh, Georgia got a nice squad, but the SEC, man, you have Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky, Georgia, Texas A&M, Ole Miss. Them just the 8 teams off the top that are loaded. So it's a big time college basketball going on right now, man, and it's gonna really kick in when the NFL concludes February the 9th with the Super Bowl. So that's the college basketball take. So now, Ryan, it is time for us to digest the college football playoffs, sir.
All right, college football playoffs is what we got. The college football recap. Let's recap a couple of these playoff games from last week, and let's go ahead and dive into what we got going on the slate we got this week. Let's talk about Georgia Notre Dame, man. I'd be the first to say that I thought that the dogs would play better. I felt like the fix was in. That's my opinion. That does not reflect anybody here on Fort Valley Boys podcast. Those are my thoughts. Um, but I just thought the dogs were going to play better. Shouts out to Notre Dame for doing what they did. What was with the other game? The other games we had, the blowout. We had Oregon, Ohio State. Ohio State showing that they $2 million was worth it, right? They $2 million in NIL was worth it. They got them a good team out there, and it's looking scary for Texas coming up this in the next couple of days.
I mean,
Talk to me, Mike.
the top 4 seeds lost. You had all 4 of the top 4 teams. They took a L. Well, not necessarily the top 4, but the top 4 seeds according to the college football playoff. Um, the Georgia game, I'll just sum it up, man, and Anatole can chime in a minute he want to, man. And Anatole, I'm gonna tell you, This dude right here was panicking, and he was going crazy the other day. When I say going crazy, Ryan was talking all kind. I'm talking about so much off the wall stuff, man. It was unreal, Anatole. I'm talking about he was talking all kind. But see, Anatole, that's what they do when they lose. When Georgia lose, man, he blames everything in the world. He may blame the water that you're drinking, everything he can. But I always sum it up with this. I think Georgia is in the midst of a dynasty. And when I say the midst of a dynasty, you know, Alabama didn't win a national championship every year. And they won what Nick Saban, what, 6, 7 titles in 13, 14 years. The problem, and I told Ryan this, and I told some more people this, and I told, the problem with Georgia this year was 2021 and 2022. That's the problem for Georgia because they're not those teams. Everybody expects Georgia to go out there and blow folks out and win a national championship, and it's not going to happen every year. So when that don't happen, oh, we got to fire Bobo. Beck wasn't good. The defense was this. Kirby losing in the locker room. Now, do you realize they went 11-3 and won the SEC? 11-3, won the SEC. This was considered a down year for Georgia, and they make to the college football playoff. And speaking of the college football playoffs, when it comes to Georgia, with this thing expanded to 12 and maybe go on to 14 or 16 teams, Georgia is going to be in the hunt every year. We just had a year, well, it wasn't Georgia year. And that stuff people just got to accept, man. Dog fan got to accept. We got to stop comparing these teams to 2021 and 2022. We got to stop comparing it. Do I want Georgia to win a national championship and win every game? Yes, but I know realistically that's not going to happen. So that's the problem. We got to get Georgia off this pedestal and stop comparing them to the national championship team.
I agree. I agree with you to a point, Mike. But it's almost like when I go outside.
Man, you didn't
I
agree
go
with you no
outside.
more the way you was snapping last week. Don't need
Oh,
boy.
wait, hold on. But see, this is how I compare. This is my comparison. Like I go outside and I fix the best ribs of my life on the grill, right? I go and fix some of the best ribs, and if they winning ribs, they done won championships and everything. And then I go out for 2 3 years, and I'm run up here. I place the show the place the show here. You got to, you know what I'm saying? I just really believe that you got to stick with what works. This didn't work. This just didn't work. And maybe I've reached the maybe Georgia has reached the pedestal, and they got to get back there. You know, maybe I changed too much, and maybe we changed too much in the recipe, in the secret sauce, so to speak. That is kind of, it's not there. It's there, but it ain't there. It ain't good enough to win. I believe in what Kirby's doing. I'll say it again. I've said it before. I believe in what Kirby's doing. I believe the voice. I believe he's a leader among these type of young men. But we got to get back to what works and get us back to the top, man. I think we had a great season. Get to the college football playoffs, SEC champions, but the end all be all. And I quote Michael Atwater: "All that is fine, but it don't who's at the end. When we're at the end, that's when it matters." Am I right?
Yeah. And you going to use another one of my phrases right here, Ryan. Thank God for your problem. And the reason I'm saying that because we could easily do y'all remember the Jim Dunning days, the Ray Goff days, the Mark Richt days? Do y'all remember 2012 when Georgia is 5 yards away from throwing the ball in the end zone, beating Alabama? Do you remember in 2001 when Georgia was undefeated and Terrence Edwards dropped the pass when Georgia could have won a national championship that year? So that's the stuff that people got to look at. We ain't a Florida program that's in turmoil right now. We ain't a Mississippi State. Some of these programs that ain't look. We not. Thank God we ain't no Florida State. So when we talk about our team, man, you got to look at the problem we had. We went 11-3. At least we wasn't Florida State 2-10.
Well, I
I'm gonna
mean,
jump in, Mike. Let me jump in real quick, Straw. I know y'all talked about it last week, and I'm gonna be real quick. This team was extremely flawed. I couldn't get on last week. This team was extremely flawed. Um, led the country in drops. O line was banged up. Couldn't run the ball. We had two. I remember had two runs over 40 yards in game one and in game like nine. That's it for the whole season. The O line wasn't effective. Um, and we just got beat. I mean, and Notre Dame didn't outplay us.
Uh-uh.
Two plays, the fumble before halftime, the kickoff return. How we lost the game? You know, you're dealing with gunners in there. So I'm just gonna be brief with that. But I'm proud of the guys because I thought we could have lost at least 4 or 5 games with that schedule. But I'm gonna say this: Notre Dame played hard. They played hard for Freeman. I like Freeman, but I think going moving past that weekend, going to this weekend or this week, I think that Penn State Notre Dame game is gonna be an old school ABC 3 yards in a cloud of dust type game.
Yeah, I think
And
it's
I
gonna be a 17-14 kind of game.
and I think everybody's picking on Ohio State to beat Texas, but they're gonna have to beat Texas in Dallas in the Cotton Bowl.
mm,
And I don't care who you are. I mean, that's like saying you're gonna beat Georgia in Atlanta, or you're gonna beat Penn State in Philadelphia. You got to bring your whole doggone lunch. So Ohio State, they fly high, they looking good. They got to bring their whole lunch though. This still the same Ohio State who couldn't stop the run against Michigan or who couldn't stop the pass rush against other teams, and so they're gonna have to show me if they beat Texas. I go ahead and crown them, but they're gonna have to show me. I think I picked Ohio State to beat Texas, but in the Cotton Bowl, that's Texas. I mean, that's Texas. They got to beat them. Texas got as much talent as any team in the country, top to
Who do,
bottom, including
who do
Ohio
y'all
State.
think for their legacy? Who needs this national championship more? Sarkeesian, Freeman, Franklin, or Day?
I think
Eh,
that
They, I'm going.
right off the top, I think Franklin needs it more than any of them. Franklin been on the cusp. He been on the cusp. He been on the cusp. Can win all the games except for maybe one or two to stay out. And it just he's always had good talent. I just think he needs it more. Um, right after that, I think we talked about this before. Ryan Day. I think Ryan Day needs it after him. Everybody
Yeah,
else, I mean, Sarkeesian. We expect Sarkeesian to be in that mix, but it go. I think, in my opinion, it's going to go Franklin, Day, Sarkeesian, and Freeman would be last because he just took over that program. In my opinion, and doesn't have really a legacy or any tenure with that program. So I think that in that order, I think it's going to go in that order.
Now, let me ask this question before we make our predictions for the semifinal game. If Texas
let me say
lose,
this real quick. Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead,
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
go ahead, bro.
But for me, I got Ryan Day needing to win the national championship. He hasn't
Yeah,
beat
yeah,
Michigan since my little
that's
girl
key.
was born. My little girl about to be 3. He ain't beat Michigan since. So he got to win in natty. They gave him too many resources. I think Franklin, for what he showed to get as far as he got, he's gonna be good for another couple of years at Penn State. Freeman's good. I mean, no Dame people love Freeman. Starkeeson, he is married to a young lady from Tallahassee, Florida. Who dad works on a FAMU campus, so he's a winner in my book already. He is a winner in my book already. That guy, cause he married up. She is. Oh, my wife ain't on here. She is a looker. He is a
Yes,
looker.
yeah.
Yes, God. But go ahead, Mike.
So if Texas don't win against Ohio State, we're gonna have the second year in a row where we don't have a SEC team in a national championship game. So the question to y'all: has the SEC taken a step back if Texas don't win this or even get play for it?
I don't think so. I think because of the way things are with the transfer portal and the NIL, I think the playing field is kind of evening out, in my opinion. I really think that some of the teams that are traditionally been below the SEC are just trying. They rising up to come up against the SEC. Your Penn States, your Ohio States. You know, those teams like that. Even your Notre Dames. You know, they're getting good. They're getting a little better talent. I know it does. I mean, those are traditional teams, and they, you know, we talk about the talent that they can get, but they can just a little bit more. They've squeezed the orange just to get a little more juice out of them, and I think it's more of the playing field evening out more than it is the SEC regressing.
I'm gonna say is the SC's aggression is say that word from your straw. I'm from the country.
I don't think the SEC is taking
Aggression.
a step back.
A
I
step
think the
back.
playing
That's the
field
word.
is
Yeah.
evening out.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this. Those schedules in the SEC this year was crazy. Every team had a tough schedule, but Texas. Like I said, Georgia was banged up. Bama was banged up. Ole Miss was banged up. You know, these teams were banged up. Tennessee was pretty much banged up too. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't follow Ohio State like I follow Georgia, but when your left tackle is out for 4 or 5 weeks, when your starting tight end is trying to pull through, when you're starting running back, when you're down to nothing but freshman running backs, you got the freshman running backs and walk on running back playing else for Georgia this year. Your receivers getting arrested, your receivers off the team. You know, no other team dealt with that. I don't see Ohio State dealing with that. They were pretty much healthy because their schedule, they played Penn State, they played Michigan, they played Oregon, but they didn't play the schedule that we played in the South. I mean, those teams in the South, except for Texas, they didn't really play anybody like we played. So I think we beat each other up, and so we didn't make it because we pretty much were beat up through and through. Um, that's just how I look at it. So I don't think the SC taking a step back. They won't take a step back, and I don't think in my lifetime because it is what it is. And Ohio State spent a lot of money, but Texas has more money than God, so they can buy who they want to buy. You know, so
Mhm.
so this is how it is. Who has more money than
Well,
Texas? Texas A&M.
that's
Well,
about all. That's about all. But they in the great state of Texas.
Then the great state of Texas.
The stars at night are big and bright deep in the heart of Texas. But in the SEC, as you know, it means more. And the teams we just talked about, Texas and Texas A&M, they're SEC teams now. We want to move on to the next thing. Let's talk about these coaches, man. Let's talk about some of these coaching hires in the HBCU world real quick.
Oh, you mean
So
the Sean Jackson hire and all that stuff?
yeah, let's talk about this Deshaun Jackson hire and this Michael Vick hire. Let Now these are names that we know. These are big names that we know of from their playing days in the NFL, their playing days in college football. Is is this one of those things where is it fair? We got coaches out here that's been coaching for a minute, but the minute the hot name comes up, a Michael Vick, a Deshaun Jackson, an Eddie George, so to speak, from a few years ago. Even primetime Sanders, even though he has gone on to Colorado and is coaching that and doing a job with that program when he went to Jackson State. Is this the reason? Is there enough to say that this is not fair for coaches that have been coaching 10, 12, 15 years and been trying to get to a different level in their career? Is this fair?
I mean, the conferences, the schools got the right to hire whoever they want. Um, this is huge for the MEAC. That's where both of these teams play at. Norfolk State and Delaware
Yeah.
State. Because when it comes to the HBCU world, the SWAC is the SEC of HBCU football. And it didn't help when Florida A&M and Bethune Cookman transfer. I mean, switched conferences and went to the SWAC. This is huge for the MEAC because it makes it relevant. And also, I think the MEAC still tries to get a team in the FCS playoffs when they have it. So this is major for the MEAC, Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson. Not necessarily Hall of Famers, but two guys that were pretty good in the NFL. They're gonna be able to recruit anybody to come to that school. They're gonna be on TV more, so it's more exposure for HBCU. Now, when we talk about coaches that have been OCs or DCs at this school, other school, I pose this question to you: if you got a chance to date right now, you got a chance right now to go on a date, your high school sweetheart or Holly Berry, who you going with? I'm going with the star. That's who I'm going with. Your high school sweetheart or Holly Berry. Holly Berry, I am on the way. And that's what Delaware State and that's what Norfolk State done. They didn't go after the regular coach or the unnamed coach. They went after the star. They going out with Holly Berry. Hey, we'll see how it goes.
Now, I'm gonna be real quick. I know we gotta get to the NFL. Myself personally, I don't like it because I look at the coaches. I worked at FAM for 15 years, so I've ate lunch with the coaches that has made 40,000 a year, 50,000 a year, has stayed on campus because they couldn't afford an apartment. Those guys have worked their way up throughout the ranks, like a KJ Black, or I can keep throwing some more names out there, but you're gonna have Deshaun, who's never coached. You have Michael Vick, who never coached. Two guys who I admire. I was a huge Deshaun Jackson fan since the Army All American game. Just tore that game up. Everybody loved Vick, but Deshaun Jackson, my guy. But he don't have a degree. Doesn't have any ties to Delaware at all, other than playing for the Eagles. And I just, to me, I just think it's a sideshow. But at the same time, who wants to coach Delaware State? So hey, if he wants to go there, a team who's been bad forever. I mean, they're bad news bears of the MEAC football. Norfolk State, who they're really a sleeping giant because they've had talent. They just can't beat nobody. They had a good coach in Odom, but I wish some guys well. I hope they win the MEAC so fans can beat them in the Celebration Bowl. That's what I hope for them. But I just wish they would look at the coaches who've been actually coaching, who've been putting the work in. And
Once
not being
again,
rude, but not being rude, but just saying, and I heard you saying Mike, but I don't think I would pick Patrick Ewing over
man,
Michael
you finna go
Atwater.
out with you going out with Holly Berry. I don't even want to hear that. No, I don't want to hear it.
Halle
You
Berry a
go,
little old for me.
man. You going out with that star. You gonna go? Let's just put any star in that boat. Holly
Yeah,
Berry, Beyonce, man, whoever. You finna go with that star. You ain't studying your
yeah,
high school sweetheart or
nah,
some regular random. You going with that star. That's what
yeah,
they
yeah,
did. Now I
yeah.
get what you're saying about coaches and the coaching rank and that kind of thing, but at the same time, this is big for the totality of HBCU football. Like this is gonna
Really
be
big
another
for Delaware.
reason why we gonna be checking what Michael Vick does and what Delaware State. This is another reason. And these games gonna be on TV. So for the culture, for
Yeah,
HBCU football, man, this is huge, man.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you. NFL, my guy, big
All
weekend.
right, all right. We got some playoff games, got some playoff matchups coming in the NFL this weekend, Super Wild Card weekend. Um, Before we dive into that, man, we already touched on these NFL rookies, man. Um, let's touch on it one more time. Anybody we didn't mention before that's standing out. We talked about Jaden Daniels, Brock Bowers. We talked about Lad McConkey. Um, Anybody else is just standing out, having a fantastic first year. Malik Neighbors. We said Neighbors, right? So let's see anybody else before we dive into the Super Wild Card weekend.
No, what the hell we talking about it again for?
Okay. Okay. It was on the rundown. It was on the rundown.
We
It
done
was on
already
the
ran
rundown.
it down, host. Pay attention. Good gracious.
Who a hoe? Who a hoe?
My
Who
bad.
who a hoe?
You right, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay. All right.
Sorry,
All right. So super. You know what?
Ryan Whitlock. That's your new
Anatoly,
name.
we're gonna talk about Super Wild Card Weekend. What's the best matchup on the books this weekend, Anatoly? Talk to me.
Quick, hold on 1 second, 1 second. Uh, I like Tampa Bay versus Washington.
That's a good sneaky game. That's a sneaky one.
I like Tampa Bay versus Washington. I like that. I like that game because my boy Baker doing his thing. My boy Bucket Irvin doing his thing. But Washington also, we got a good little team. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a
Man,
real good game.
I think all three of the NFC wildcard games gonna be good. And the thing about them three games, see, in a sense, in the AFC, you kind of figured who's gonna be the winner of them games most likely. People gonna automatically probably pick Buffalo, Baltimore, probably the Chargers. Chargers, Houston is a game that might be on the fence. But in the NFC, man, that's a 50-50 kind of game with all three of them games. Green Bay could easily go in there and beat Philadelphia. The Rams could beat the Vikings. And just thinking about how disappointing the season would be for them that done won 14 games, you could go out in the first round. But the Rams got enough to beat them. And that Tampa Bay Washington game, like Anatole was talking about, it's gonna be a good one too, man. This is one of the best weekends in football, especially with these college football playoffs and the wild card. It's gonna be a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, this is looking shaping up to be a really good sports weekend on the gridiron here. Um, like you said, Michael, that NFC is going to be a dogfight. Whoever wins that NFC, especially in this first round, it's no gimme. It's definitely no gimmicks. Now you can look over at the AFC, like you said. I'm gonna be honest with you. I see where Baltimore could beat Pittsburgh, but these are division rivals. This will be their third time playing, and they 1-1. If Pittsburgh were to actually play some football after a 4 game slide, I think they could possibly edge out Baltimore. They did it once. I don't see why they couldn't do it again. Buffalo, I
What
really
do you
think.
need to win? What do you need to win against Baltimore, right?
Well, I mean, we got to play like we played the first time we played them. Defense gonna have to show up and show out. The ball, we're gonna have to give Russell some time. Russell Wilson gonna have some time to throw the ball, and we're gonna have everybody clicking on the same thing. Pat Fryman's gonna have to catch some passes. George Pickens gonna have to pull his head out as you know what. And you're gonna have somebody that ain't normally there gonna have to actually show up and do their thing. Defensively, you're gonna have to sure up the run. You got Derrick Henry coming at you downhill. You're gonna have to show him that you're not afraid of him, like a lot of teams in the AFC. So you got to play well on both sides of the ball, but you got to be a little more surprising on the offensive side of the ball in that matchup, in my opinion. What else you see? What else you see? You see anything this weekend, Anatoly? You see anything, Mike? What else y'all see?
I like the Rams. I don't know why. I mean, Sean McVay is my guy. Yeah, I know Stafford my guy. I like the Rams for some reason. I don't know why. And they might get blown out by the Vikings, but I like the Rams. I don't know if
The
they're gonna play
Rams
the
don't.
game because of the fire. You know, the fire is bad out there. Praying for those people. But
Mhm.
I like the Rams, man, for some reason. I don't know. Sean McVay. Sean McVay, like I say, was Gatorade Player of the Year in Georgia. And Calvin Johnson also was a senior. Sean McVay was a bad option quarterback in high school. He was the man.
At
You
Marist High
remember
School.
Marist High School running the wishbone. He was a bad man. So is Sean McVay the coach? I'm going with Sean McVay.
It's possible. I don't see why it can't. Because I mean, if them doggone Rams they get on the roll, they can do it. They got Stafford, Puka Nakua, Cooper Cup. I don't see why they couldn't.
Got 5 good days of some great football coming up, fellas.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Let's go. Let's talk about some more college basketball, man. We talked about earlier how the SEC is dominating college basketball. Number one team in the nation is the Auburn Tigers. Talk to me. Tell me about it.
They clearly the best team. They, not necessarily clearly, but Auburn, like I said, Auburn, Alabama, Duke, Iowa State, Houston, Tennessee. They the cream of the crop right now.
Now you were saying now a lot of people we hadn't touched on the NBA at all this evening, but seems that the viewership we've been talking about the viewership has been down. Is basketball as a whole viewership down because of the way the NFL and the NCAA playoffs has that affected the viewership in all of basketball right now?
You can go for Anto.
I think so. NFL playing on the Super Bowl and having Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like my mother-in-law, I love her to death. She a pastor. She's my pastor. I'm Methodist. We was over at the house on Christmas, and she said, "Hey, Beyonce on the TV." You know, so everybody watched Beyonce. So yeah, I mean, NFL is hot, man. NFL is hot. These rookies look good. The Chiefs might be the worst two-loss team in NFL history, but they don't lose. You know, I mean, NFL is hot, man. I mean, the NBA is just I don't know, man. It's just like it don't feel the same like the old school NBA. I hate to sound like Uncle Ruckus or somebody, but this positionless basketball, it feel more like park ball than basketball to me. That's just me. I know Mike coaches basketball, but I don't like it. Me personally, I don't like it at all. You
Have
know,
they have they done have they done too much to into the NBA with the in season tournament and things of that nature? I mean, have they done too much? Is I'm just
I'm gonna say
saying. I
this.
mean,
I'm gonna say
that
this.
that
I watch European soccer and they have in-season tournaments in European soccer and it's exciting. I don't get that same feeling in basketball. It just don't feel the same.
Well, let me just
Who is
sum.
that? Who was it? Who was that fat joker at the top of the screen of that town? Who was that fat boy?
I told
Hey,
I
fat
told
boy.
y'all that
Hey,
he would be
fat boy.
joining us later.
Hey, fat
Saxophonist,
boy.
saxophonist, host, moderator, extraordinaire Fabian Vicks joining us.
Member of the Imhotep tribe.
The thing
Don't
the
don't
thing
don't don't
with
tell a lie.
the
Don't tell a
thing
lie.
with the NBA and the viewership is several things that go with it. Number one, of course, NBA basketball is not going to be viewed well right now with the NFL playoffs going on. Oh, and and not to mention, college football done crunk it up with a 12-team playoff. So who is really you got to be a true basketball junkie to be watching basketball right now. Secondly, the play right now. Teams are averaging it's some games where the score is 135 to 128 and they wanted more offense in the game. But at the same time, people are looking at that. I think a lot of people don't watch the NBA, and I don't understand this either. A lot of people don't like LeBron James. A lot of people think LeBron James has so much impact on the NBA and that kind of thing. But there's so many people that hate this dude that you know they are turned off by the NBA. But at the end of the day, when it start coming to March and April, that's when the NBA gonna get their views. That's when the NBA gonna make their money. That's their money making in March and April. NBA not gonna make their money when it in November and December. That's not when they gonna make it. It's just getting started too. Just like I just said about college basketball. College basketball get popping in March. So of course the NBA is not gonna hold up to the NBA. I mean to the NFL. I think right now, if we have to rank sports, of course NFL and college football 1, 2. I don't know what would be 3. I have no clue. I don't know if the NBA is the third best or third most popular. I don't know. What y'all think would be 3 behind NBA and college? I'm behind NFL and college football.
European soccer.
I mean, I could see that, but I think NBA would be three because I mean, you still got names out there. As much as people don't care for LeBron, as you say, um, you know, you still got a whole crop of talent out there that's being discovered. Anthony Edwards, uh, you got a lot of cats out there, man. That's you know, Gildas Alexander.
And I'm
You
glad
know,
you said his name. If he walked by any of our wires right now, they wouldn't have a clue who he was.
no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. This is not the same outside of LeBron and maybe like a Kawhi Leonard and maybe a Paul George, people that we know. The NBA has not done a great job as far as marketing as they've done in the past, marketing the players. We talked a while back about the Jordan era versus this era, right? And one of the things it is that all these cats now are on that level. All of these gentlemen now are on that level to the point to where you know they all play well enough to where you don't. It's enough of them. It's so many of them. Who is this guy? Is that LeBron? Nope, it's not LeBron. And who is that then? You know what I mean? It's just so many of these cats, man. You got to like LeBron. When LeBron first came into the league, one of the bigger things that he had was his endorsements, and he was everywhere. He was on Nike, Bubblicious. He had this, he had that. The only thing that I've seen Anthony Edwards on is probably that Sprite commercial for the holiday. But can you tell me another commercial with another major, somewhat major superstar on there? That's what I mean. The marketing is not there. These people's faces, these athletes' faces, are not getting out there like they know they would. That's why you don't see them. That's why if we go somewhere out in the mall, they ain't get mobbed like they used to.
And Steph Curry done been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's winding down. Steph Curry is winding down for him. But
I
he's
got some
still.
numbers
I
for you.
mean, he's one of the few that's recognizable. He's done
I
it.
got
He's
some,
done a lot. His face has been out there.
I got some numbers for you, Strong.
Okay, come on with it.
The NFL had 115 million people watch the NFL annually last year. College football had 25 million. NBA had 12. Baseball had 10. Basketball had 10 to 15 million. Soccer had 25 million. Hockey had 5 million. Golf had 10. Tennis had 5. Combat sports had 2.
Mm,
So yeah.
that is
Hmm.
the international baby, internationally known football, football.
To be honest now, and Anatole don't realize I'm a sports fanatic too. The big thing about last year when it comes to soccer, the World Cup did play last year. Won the World Cup for women. Oh, you had the Olympics. You had the Olympics last year.
Olympics last year, yeah. One
My
on
bad.
World Cup last year. You good. It was the European Cup was last year. That was big too. It's like a World Cup, but in Europe. It, it's not as so the European Cup, all the European countries play like a World Cup. And that's pretty big. That's like 2 months, 3 months long.
It's the World Cup
So
this
some
year, ain't it? Ain't the World Cup this year?
mm-mm, every 4 years. It's 2 years after the Summer Olympics, always a fifth FIFA World Cup.
So the World Cup is in 26. It's in America too.
Hmm. It's in America. Yeah. I'm going, bro. I'm going. I'm gonna get some money from
Yeah,
Straw
they,
and
they
I'm
got
going.
they got some games that's gonna be over in Atlanta and
Hmm.
Miami. Yeah, different places. Yep.
I'm gonna borrow some money from Straw and Fabian and go.
Well, hopefully this podcast will blow up and we can be there. But that's a wrap for the night, fellas. This was a good show.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
once
You
again,
did a good
thank you to
job,
all
Straw.
our sponsors. Thank y'all for coming out, man. Um, Parting shot, real quick, man. Prayers and thoughts to all the victims and all the people that were affected in the New Orleans tragedy last week. Just terrible, man. Just terrible that we live in a world where people have that much hate in their heart. But prayers to them, man. And through this, we will be stronger as a people. As a people.
So also
Y'all have a
prayers
great
to
evening.
hey Strong.
We are,
Also prayer Strong. Also prayers to the Smart family. Kirby lost his daddy last week
yeah,
too. Mhm.
Kirby Smart. Thank you, Anatola. Uh, great job as always, gentlemen. Once again, tune in to us Wednesdays and on Sundays after football, where we will be talking about pop culture on Sundays. Until then, continue to stay safe, be blessed, be kind, and be good.
I hold it down, fellas.